One Piece is an interesting beast. Its stories, its arcs, are mostly standalone, but you do gain more by watching what happened previously. Skypiea is an arc that is more standalone than the rest that I've read so far. We begin in chapter 217, right after the defeat of Crocodile and the liberation of Alabasta. The Straw Hats are ready to head out to their next Grand Line Island when they epically say goodbye to Vivi. They immediately fall into another adventure when a flying galleon nearly crushes them. After a short investigation and a brief squabble with the local pirates, Straw Hats find their first foreshadowing to the Sky Island, Skypiea, and their first destination to go investigate, Jaya. This begins the Jaya sub-arc, where they hear the story of Norland Montbrand and meet his descendant, Cricket Montbrand, who is looking for the lost city of gold sunken in the water where Norland thought it might be, after he was called King of the Liars when he brought his king to see the wonders that he had discovered, and there was nothing there. Cricket and his two followers do everything that they can to help Luffy get to Sky Island, despite Bellamy's interference. This sub-arc, however, marks the appearance of Don Quixote Doflamingo, a flamboyant and cruel Shichibukai who commands Bellamy. Straw Hats learn of and utilize a unique current that shoots straight up in the air with the help of Cricket and his boys, and they find themselves in a huge white fluffy ocean. Almost as soon as they get there, they need to be saved by a mysterious old man who calls himself the Knight of the Sky. He also gives them a whistle to summon him later if they need his help. Soon after, they find themselves on a strange beach where they meet Konis and Pagaya, who teach them a little bit about Angel Island, the part of Skypiea that they're on. Nami discovers a huge chunk of Earth where some shit's going down, as the rest of the crew learn about dials, these ancient shellfish shells that make life a little bit easier on Angel Island. The danger starts moving now, however, as the police show up to arrest the pirates who didn't pay the entrance fee. They, of course, resist arrest and fend off the officials. As they're getting ready to split, the ship, Zolo, Robin, Chopper, and Nami get kidnapped by a giant shrimp. This, Pagaya tells them, is part of God's judgment, and he sends them to the place of trials to save their friends. At the destination, Konis' guilt gets the better of her, and she spills the beans about how she was the one who turned them in and got their friends kidnapped, and how she's scared of what their god will do to her. This prompts a big freaking space laser to come down and to try to kill her, but the Sky Knight saves her at the very last second. And this is when we get the big reveal about his character, and that he used to be the god of this island, until he was ousted by the current god. We then join Zolo, Nami, and Robin, who are getting ready to leave the ship to explore where the heck they are now, leaving Chopper to take care of the repairs on the ship so that they can get away when they get back. Chopper, however, is left mostly defenseless against one of the 4 priests of the island, and so he uses the whistle to summon the Sky Knight to save him, and their ship going merry. While this is happening, Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp are going through the trial of bubbles against one of the other 4 saints, Satori. He has the ability to control any number of these surprise balls that can have anything in them from a plant to a bomb. Working together, they defeat Satori and leave the trial of bubbles mostly intact. This is when the Straw Hats first have their encounter with the indigenous people of the landmass that's in Skypiea, the Shandarans. They're a kind of rebel force fighting against God to take their land back. The battle between these two groups is really starting to heat up when Luffy first meets Viper. Back at the ship, Ganfall the Sky Knight and Chopper lose against Shura, one of the 4 priests, and fall into the White Sea. But then they are inexplicably saved by an unknown power, and they then meet up with the rest of the crew. Once together, they decide to do what pirates do and go after the gold on the island. They decipher Norland's code of "I see gold in the skull's right eye" and head off to where the gold city was 400 years ago. The 3 parties, the Shandarans, the Straw Hats, and Enel and his army, they all vie for tactical superiority through various battles on the island. Enel treats this as a game, playing with people's lives, and none can really match his power. He's the strongest on the island, and one by one, people start falling to him. His plan is revealed to be one of genocide of all the people on the island, indigenous or otherwise, so that he can go to the eternal earth and put the humans where they belong below him. He took all of the gold from the Shandaran's gold city and fashioned it into a ship to help protect him from the calamity that he's about to ensue, and so he can fly to his destination. Luffy, of course, has a lot of problems with Enel and his plan, so he vows to stop him from getting the Shandaran Golden Bell. Luffy provides to be the perfect antithesis to Enel's powers because Luffy's made of rubber and Enel's powers are all electricity based. Their epic fight plays out, and Enel seems to be playing with Luffy the whole time, not really fighting him, hiding on his ship. Luffy ain't having none of this shit though, and he finds a way up to Enel's ship and clobbers him one last time, ringing the bell and letting everyone know that their struggles are over and that they're safe now. Finally delivering the message to Monbrand's descendants that the city was in the sky, not underwater. This arc is a really interesting arc. It's a lot more, like I said earlier, it's a lot more standalone than the rest of them, and that's probably because they're more isolated in Skypiea than they ever have been before. There's really no communication with the rest of the world in the Blue Sea. I really think the battles in this arc were completely next level from anything that I had seen in One Piece up to this point. Obviously, excluding the final battle between Luffy and Crocodile, that was fucking awesome. I really do enjoy the Skypiea arc. It's originally what turned me into a One Piece fan. Before that, I had just known about One Piece. But as a whole, grouped in with the rest of the story, it's so isolated from everything else that it really just kind of gives me a filler vibe. When compared to the arc that directly precedes Skypiea, the Water 7 arc, it lacks a lot of the impact that Water 7 had. I don't personally condone skipping One Piece arcs. I think the story is meant to be read as a whole, and if you miss something and then that character shows up later, you really are missing a lot of the impact of, you know, you're seeing this guy again. Like, if you skip the Skypiea arc, you're gonna miss, you know, the introduction of Doflamingo, who's currently one of the biggest villains in the story. But this is definitely one that you could skip if you're willing to do that to yourself. I think this story should be experienced as a whole, but this arc has a lot less connections to anything else that's going on than the rest of the arcs.